ESEE is blowing my mind with the ESEE 4HM with Kydex sheath from the factory.
That blade, I'd say either.
Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. I'm your host, Aaron, and it's like ESEE heard all of my complaints for the last 6 years and said, okay, we got it. Aaron will make you happy. It's all about you. This wind is like the hurricane of my emotions with this blade. I've been asking for years for the ESEE 4 and like the ESEE 3 designs to not have a finger choil. Small knives to me don't really need a finger choil. Larger knives, I love it, and it really helps out a lot. But this size range, I prefer just something that's more natural, and the squared off blocky handle scales, and I love my Kydex sheaths. So a year or two ago, ESEE came out with the HM series of some of their designs. Really awesome, great contouring, nice and full handles. Some of the best ergonomics that you can get out of the factory. Fantastic, and removed the finger choil. So now you can choke up, get great control over your knife, great for woodscraft, hunting, camping, all of those tasks. But originally it come with a leather sheath. That's why I never picked it up, because I knew I would have to upgrade. I'm just not a big fan of leather sheaths. But recently they have come out with their factory well-designed Kydex sheath, and all this coming in for under $100. Mind-boggling, mind-blowing. So guys, we're gonna break this knife down. We're gonna run up some competitive options, because I think it's like giving me no need to carry my BK16 anymore. We'll talk about that, we'll run that in. We'll discuss all of that today and see what the ESEE 4HM has to offer and whether or not it's gonna be the right compact fixed blade for you, and if your emotions are gonna start to be traumatically encountered like a hurricane of wind and love and outdoor adventure. So come along with me as we explore this knife. So ultra classic blade shape here on the HM, ESEE 4HM. What we're looking at here is a great 4.1 inch actual cutting edge, razor sharp edge, great from the factory, very easy to work with because it's 1095 high carbon steel, which is very easy to work with. It will rust on you, that's why that black coating is on there. And then we have that great amount of belly, really like that aspect as well. 4.3 overall from the handle scale to the tip cutting edge. And then we have just a really good stout blade. It's going to be 0.19, so that's pretty thick for this size of a knife. So it's a little overbuilt for toughness and durability. You're going to lose some slicing capability compared to, say, a knife that's like, you know, 0.16 or even 0.12, you know, an eighth of an inch thick. I think 0.16 would have been perfect. This is absolutely not like a downer, but you know, the thinner the blade, the better it slices. So you get more strength, but you will be losing a little bit in the slicing capability. But the full flat grind with the shape, the design, everything makes this a great woodscraft knife as well as food prep knife, which is, I believe, what you'll really be using this the most for. You know, this is a great belt knife. You have either like an ESEE Hungalis, you got a hatchet, you know, something like that for your larger, you know, wood processing, and then you have this to do your cooking, your food prep, and your carving, your whittling, you know, making feather sticks for a fire, doing some notching, making a spear, making tent pegs, stakes, triggers, traps, all that. This HM ESEE 4 is fantastic and is absolutely capable in every way, and is going to have that strength and durability that you know ESEE's come with, not only with their lifetime warranty, but also just with the design overall being a little stouter design than some others on the market. Okay, so the reason I've been holding off on this knife for so long is that I've been waiting for a Kydex sheath from the factory. Now, when these were released, they came with leather sheaths. They still are available with that. If you're into leather, from what I've seen, they're pretty decent leather sheaths, but I'm a Kydex guy. So recently, the HM series was released with Kydex. It's fantastic, just like what we know for ESEE and what they've been producing in their Kydex sheath line for years. Now, the blade comes with the Kydex and then their classic metal belt clip, which is decent, but it's a really high ride. At least half of the knife is riding up, you know, near your ribs, and I just don't really care for that type of style. Well, ESEE has their nylon MOLLE compatible backing that's for the ESEE 3 and ESEE 4, but also for the HM series. So it screws in perfectly. This is about an extra $20. I'll have links in the description below as always. USA made, gotta love that. Screws right into the already pre-drilled holes. Now you have PALS webbing attachments. You have a secondary attachment here. You also have Velcro for your belt, all sorts of different lashing options, which is really a game changer for me. Now I just ride this constantly on my belt and love it. Then this is even jump ready, as you saw here in the front. So we have the first retention point, second retention point with some Velcro, and then this third elastic kind of pouch here to really keep it secure if you're concerned about that. For me, if I'm belt carrying, I usually just kind of keep this off to the side, and then if I need to, for some reason, tuck it, I will. Then we got that really nice thumb ramp right there, releases the blade, snaps back into place. So fabulous setup. I would highly recommend if you're going to belt carry, particularly this knife, go with the MOLLE compatible panel on the back. It'll be worth the extra 20 bucks you drop on it. So an awesome part about this blade is its handle and its handle profile. Now, way back, I did a review on the ESEE 4, and there were a couple things that I kind of had some problems with. One was the square, clunky, kind of short micarta handle scales, and then the finger choil. Now, for me personally, it's a personal preference thing. I don't like using knives under about 6 inches with finger choils. I just think that it's kind of a waste of space. You don't really need that much control on that small a knife. I'd rather just have a small guard or no guard and the controllability of the knife. So those things were kind of some downers for me on the original ESEE 4 design. This has remedied both of those things. First off, no finger choil anymore with a nice clear cut in right up to the edge, so I still have fantastic control over the knife. I absolutely love that. You are right up on that edge, able to do all the types of woodscraft work that you would want. This is by no means a tactical knife, where the ESEE 4 is more in that tactical vein, military vein. And then 4.5-inch micarta handle scales that have been completely rounded. Zero hot spots on this handle, no clunkiness. Just feels fantastic. Feels great in the hand, every single direction. You can use this for hours without creating any sort of hot spots. No jimping to worry about. Just a really good outdoor companion designed knife, and particularly the handle takes the cake and makes it amazing to use for an extended period of time. All right, we're gonna hit price as well as competitive options here on the ESEE 4HM. Now, I paid $96 at the Knife Connection for this. That is the cheapest that I was able to find it. It is becoming available on Amazon and Blade HQ. Not sure about the prices. The Knife Connection was the cheapest that I could find. I wouldn't pay more than about 105, maybe 110 max for this, depending on who, what, when, where, why. I will have links in the description below, not only over to the Knife Connection, but also to Amazon and Blade HQ. When you guys do use the Amazon and Blade HQ links, because we have affiliates with them, we get a small kickback, helps me buy gear just like what you see here in this video. Bought this ESEE so I can do this video for you, and I really appreciate it when you guys use those hyperlinks. So if maybe another knife stands out to you, or you can find the ESEE 4HM on Amazon or Blade HQ for a little bit less, that always helps us out when you guys use all the links that are offered below for you in this video, particularly Amazon and Blade HQ links. So with that $96 for USA made, lifetime warranty, no questions asked. You snap it, you break it, something damages, ESEE will replace it for the lifetime of the knife, which is epic and awesome. Okay, so we got 4 other blades here. So let's talk about really the major competitor for me, the Becker BK16. I've had this for many years. I tricked this bad boy out. Really like it. You know, I've put a lot of work and love into this and have used it regularly, and I really enjoy it. And it was really my alternative to the ESEE 4. I had the ESEE 4, wasn't really happy with its design for outdoor use. I looked at what else is on the market in $10.95, USA made, about $100 or less, and I came across this knife. But you got to do a lot of tricking out. This is going to run you basic model out of the box, $70-ish. For that USA made $10.95, but it's going to have the Gryvery plastic handle scales and a pretty cruddy nylon sheath. So to modify that, I stripped the coating off just to give it that extra level of cool factor and stained it. Then I bought aftermarket micarta handle scales that are about $30 to $35, so now we're at about $100 on the price. Then I went over to AZ Welke, which does make great cheese, but I had to spend about another $40 to $45 for this sheath, so now we're almost $140, $150 for the Becker BK16, where now with the HM series, for about $95, I can get everything that I need. And if I really want to step my game up, for about $120, I can get the nylon pouch, and just takes it to a completely nylon backing, just takes it to a whole nother level. So I'm having to spend about $40 more to give me a similar capability and performance that the HM has. And on top of that, I would argue that the HM still has a better handle overall for outdoor use. They are about the same here. But what happens is when we go like this, you can see that the HM has a much fuller, just natural, simple handle, whereas the BK16 has a narrower handle, has little cut-ins here near the neck, out the back here. So that may be a positive or a negative depending on your hand size. For me, I have large size hands, and the HM just seems to fill it out more, and it's just more natural because it's thicker all the way through. We do have a guard here, which will help with some grip to keep me from sliding up, but I don't have quite the control that I have with the HM. So those are positive and negatives you need to weigh, but particularly right there at the neck, you can just see the BK16 is much thinner. And then the BK16 is 0.16 on the thickness, and a little bit, which is about 1.5 ounces less on weight versus the 0.19. But when we talk about outdoor performance and food prep, for you and me, the average user, we're not going to really notice a whole lot of difference. I would have liked to see the HM possibly a little thinner, maybe like 0.17, 0.16 would have been like mind-blowing, but it wouldn't have quite the strength. And I know I can do a little bit more with the ESEE 4HM than I can with the BK16 because it's a little bit heavier and it is a little bit thicker. So that's a little bit of a trade-off possibly in slicing capability, but the handle ergonomics, again, just so simple, whereas some of these cut-ins and thinner aspects in some types of bushcraft tasks can cause a little bit of discomfort, or you have to kind of reset the knife frequently. You don't have to do that with the HM. So even though my tricked out BK16 is amazing, right out of the gate, the HM with its Kydex sheath beats it out of the water now in desirability and performance for me because of all the whole package being put together with the better, I believe, for outdoor use handle ergonomics and the out-of-the-box great Kydex sheath. So the BK16 has really been my boy in this size range and kind of design concept for a long time. But now the ESEE 4HM has, taken its place with the Kydex sheath and everything that it now offers. And honestly, guys, I have the Mora Garberg in 1095 high carbon steel. I have the Kaiser Little River in 1095 high carbon steel. That one's made in China. The Mora's made in Sweden. And really, when you boil it all down, there are great aspects to all the knives here in front of us, but the simplicity, the reliability, and the performance that ESEE gives us and gives me day in, day out is something that stands out from the crowd and stands out from all the other blades that we have looked at today that we regularly look at here. And just to give you a little perspective here, I just came back recently, and this is where you saw a lot of the footage from my multi-day backpacking trip I do once a year with my family, and I can pick any of the blades I have. And what was the companion blade I took with me the entire time and that I trusted? It was the ESEE 4HM series. And it was my go-to on my belt everywhere I went. And when we did, after getting to our location all alone at 10,600 feet, the next day we went up to 12,380 feet at a peak, and I could have, again, picked any knife I wanted to, but what was the knife that was on my belt that we could have gotten lost up there? We could have gotten injured and had to spend the night. I mean, there were many scenarios that could have happened, and so I needed a good, reliable blade, but I needed to be compact, lightweight, and trustworthy. And the simplicity and the trustworthiness and performance factors that ESEE gives us in this design was the knife I chose. So that was my fixed blade. I didn't carry any others up to that peak for reliability's sake and trustworthy's sake and performance sake. I knew that if I had to spend the night, this would, for its size, give me the ability to do a lot of stuff. And that's just something that ESEE has been doing for me personally for years. And I'm not saying that because, I got it for free or something like that. Again, I laid down my own hard-earned money, and it's just something that I believe in and that this knife does for me, that these other knives that we see in front of us have certain capabilities that are great, but when it comes to the one and done, do everything simplicity, it's the ESEE 4HM.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Well, folks, it's a no-brainer. If you've been thinking about this knife, now is the time to pick it up. For about $100, depends on who, what, when, where, why, you're getting USA made quality, 1095 steel, you're getting a lifetime warranty, you're getting a great Kydex sheath, great ergonomics, solid built blade, and for just a little bit extra, you can get an amazing attachment that really is kind of like a one and done. You guys are gonna see this knife a lot on my belt when I go out there, and you guys are seeing other videos when we're reviewing packs and other knives and gear and hatchets and all that stuff. You're gonna see this regularly because it is just a perfect companion blade to go with larger tools right on your belt, reliable. It's an ESEE name. If you've never owned an ESEE, you are missing out. If you have, and you do, you know what I'm talking about, guys. Now is the time, I think, to get the HM series. I believe I will be trying to get my hands on the 6 soon, and we'll be doing a head-to-head against the ESEE 6 and the ESEE 6 HM now that comes in Kydex as well. So thank you guys so much for coming over here today, checking out the channel. Please subscribe if you're not a current subscriber. I invite you to become part of the GT family. If you're a current subscriber, you rock, you're awesome. Be checking over week after week. We throw up videos like this. Sometimes they don't show up in people's news feeds, I guess, just with the weird algorithms sometimes that YouTube does. So every week, we're doing between 2 and 4 videos that I try and crank out here, giving you guys honest feedback and content, showing you what knives and products and gear can do, what they can't do, and helping you guys just to live life to the fullest, and just helping you to pick the right gear to make life more enjoyable. That's all the gear does, is just make life more enjoyable. It's not the gear that makes life enjoyable. So thank you guys so much for coming over here today. And finally, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. See you out there.